You're listening to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast with Wendy Johnson, episode number 26.
Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast, where women come to be inspired and motivated to become the best version of themselves and elevate the quality of their everyday. Now, here's your host, certified life coach, Wendy Johnson.
Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to this episode about how to practice the habit of persistence. The reason why I'm talking about this particular quality is the problem I see working with clients when they want things to happen overnight. They want to drop the 20 pounds quickly. They want to improve something in their life, their friendship or marriage, or make money quickly. In today's podcast, I want to talk about why persistence is important and the 8 qualities of persistence that are required and the symptoms of lack of persistence and how they show themselves. And then one of the number one fears that shows up in persistence. And after each quality, I will ask you questions and you can rate each quality with a 1 through 10. What is persistence? It's a firm continuance in a course of action in spite of having difficulty or opposition. And persistence is a state of mind, and there's no other quality that can replace it to keep going when you're struggling with fear, challenges, and being discouraged. And persistence is important in life because it's the essential quality to have an extraordinary life and be successful. And it tops your aptitude and your raw talent. And it's a better predictor of success than any other quality that you can possess. And it's your ability to be able to stick to your tasks, goals, and passions. And it entails effort and consistent practice. And this is a trait that you have to develop because it's closely related to personal development and improving yourself. Without persistence, your ability to grow and develop as a person is severely restricted. And it will also be the amount of wealth you have, happiness you can achieve, and all around success in all areas of your life if you don't have this quality. And it requires this willingness to face failures and to get back up and to try it again. Requires a willingness to continue to learn, to grow, to stretch, and to face your deepest fears. So how is persistence described? It's described through these 8 qualities. And I want you to rate yourself on these qualities so you can begin to think if the reason why you're not starting something or you're not finishing something that you've already started or you've given up, that maybe it's one of these qualities that you're lacking in. And the first one is a definite purpose. You know what you want and you have a strong motive to surmount any difficulty. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear is your why? How clear is your vision of the life you'd love to live and the kind of personal or business life you need to support that? The second quality is intense desire. You have to have this burning desire, continue to pursue and persist on a dream that you have. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your desire to create that life? And the third quality is a definite plan. It's organized, it's written down, and it encourages you to persist because you know what you need to do. On a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are you about the next steps you're taking today, this week, this month, this quarter? And the fourth quality is self-reliant belief in your ability to carry out a plan and to follow through with the plan. And this is taking action and believing in yourself, relying on yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your belief in your ability to actually follow through on that plan? And a good gauge for this is to examine if you've started several projects, how many have you completed? And how many are still unfinished? And the fifth quality is having accurate knowledge, knowing that your plans are sound based on observation or experience, and you're not just guessing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the plans you have created are based on knowledge that this is the best way to achieve the purpose in your life? And the sixth quality is cooperation. You have sympathy, understanding, and you are harmoniously cooperating with others. On a scale of 1 to 10, how harmonious is your relationship with others assisting or supporting you? Do you ask for help? Do you have the support of others? Or are you trying to do this all alone in isolation? And the seventh quality is focus. Do you have that habit of concentrating your thoughts upon building those plans? On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your focus? Do you set yourself up to focus by removing your distractions and giving yourself a concentrated period of time to focus on your work? And the eighth quality is habit. Do you have daily habits or daily experiences or rituals which feed the persistence? It's through repetition of acting and being courageous. On a scale of 1 to 10, how habitual are your daily actions? Do you have a morning routine that sets you up for success? Do you have a specific time you focus on your work? What do you do to protect your time? Scoring yourself on these 8 qualities is a good gauge to examine if you are going to complete things. And taking a personal inventory, if it's once a year, to determine what you're lacking in and what you need to work on and focus on to improve your persistence. There's a number of symptoms of lack of persistence that show themselves, and these would be your weaknesses. And I typically don't focus on weaknesses, but I think if you know what they are, then you know what to avoid. And the first one is failure to define what you want, what your purpose is. The second one is procrastination and using excuses and alibis. The third one is lack of interest in receiving more knowledge, educating yourself. The fourth is indecision, passing the buck, or using an alibi. The fifth weakness is the habit of planning alibis for the habit of solving problems. You have to have plans for what problem or obstacle that might come up. And the sixth one is a lack of self-satisfaction. The seventh one is indifference. You're ready to compromise rather than meet the opposition. The eighth is a habit of blaming others for your mistake and accepting unfavorable circumstances. You're willing to just live with whatever is happening. And the ninth weakness is a weakness of desire. You don't have that burning desire. You're going after the wrong thing. And the 10th weakness, willingness to quit at any sign when you're defeated. The 11th is a lack of organized plans and writing. The only way you can analyze what you're doing is to have your plan written down. And the 12th is a habit of neglecting ideas. Ideas are only good at the birth, and then as time goes by, they slowly die. And then you have an opportunity that's been presented and you decline to take that opportunity. And 13, you wish for things to happen rather than willing them. 14 is an absence to be, to do, and to own. And say you grew up with poverty consciousness, you're going to give up and just say, this is who I am, this is where I came from, and there's no use in getting myself out of poverty. And the 15th is trying to get without giving. So maybe you're in the habit of trying to win quick money, like gambling, or driving a sharp bargain where you're nickel and diming people to get the lowest price. You have these expectations that people owe you. And 16 is the most important symptom, and that's the fear of criticism. When you fail to take action on plans because of what others will think, do, or say. And this is the biggest enemy of all, and it belongs at the top of the list because it's existing in our subconscious mind and we're not aware that we have it. A majority of people allow relatives and friends and the general public to influence them, and they're not living their true extraordinary life. Many people make mistakes in who they marry, and they go through life miserable and unhappy because they don't want to be criticized for correcting their mistake. Other people may not go to school after they left because they fear being criticized. Some people, doesn't matter the age, allow relatives to destroy their lives because they have a duty. They don't want their parents to criticize them. And some people refuse to take chances in their business because they fear the criticism that they may fail. So why do it? And the fear of criticism is stronger than your desire to lead a successful, happy life. So many people give up on their goals. They don't have big dreams and extraordinary goals. They neglect choosing a career that they really want because they fear criticism. Personally, I felt the fear of criticism in my own life several times. The last time was when I was going through a divorce. I had known a few years earlier that my marriage wasn't working, but I was afraid of what other people would say, what my relatives would say. Especially, I grew up believing that I was in the marriage for the long game, for the good and the bad. I had watched both of my grandparents, who I was so close to, stay married for 60 plus years and 50 plus years, despite having a lot of setbacks and troubles. Also, I felt the fear of criticism when I decided to leave the Lutheran Church. My relatives had something to say about that because I had spent more than half my life in the church. I see myself as a spiritual being having a human experience, and I found myself practicing more universal principles. So let's wrap up today's podcast, just going through the qualities. The first one that you want to have is definite purpose. The second one, intense desire. Third is definite plans. Fourth is self-reliance. Fifth is accurate knowledge. Sixth is cooperation. Seventh is focus. And 8 is habit. And these qualities are what I work on with the clients that I help, with the women that go through my program. The first thing that they have to do when they join is choose an extraordinary goal and work towards that goal. Napoleon Hill of Think and Grow Rich leaves us with encouragement. Be persistent no matter how slowly you may at first have to move. With persistence, success will come. I'd love to know your outcomes of the qualities. What is your strongest quality? What needs to be shored up? And what are you lacking in completely? What's one step you can take this week to improve a quality? If you were to choose one part of your personality to develop that would keep you moving in the right direction, I hope that you see persistence as the key. It's going to keep you going in the face of every obstacle you encounter. And all the unfinished projects that you have in your life around your home, you're not going to have those anymore. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to being with you next week. Take care now. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.